Texas All-Star Wrestling. Steve Stack here along with Gary Hart, and we've got an exciting hour for you tonight. The cage match we've been promising you is going to happen tonight, but there's a surprise in the cage, and we'll be talking to Gary Hart a little more about that later on. Plus, a Texas-style match. And when I talk about Texas-style wrestling, nothing could be more appropriate than a Texas bull rope match. Two men tied together with a bull rope and a cowbell in the middle. That's the Cowboy Scott Casey. Who else? Against El Madril. The sheepherder Jonathan Boyd will be here. He's going to have an exciting match for us tonight. And one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, who is back in Texas and proud to be with Texas All-Star Wrestling. We're glad to have him. Polish Power Ivan Putski makes another great appearance with the Polish Hammer. The masked grappler will be here. Tom Jones and a lot more. And we're going to announce the winner of the Honda Ford Tracker 125. And if you live in Seguin, Texas, be sure you're listening, because you may be the one from Seguin who is the lucky winner. Well, Gary Hart, you're here in all your glory on Texas All-Star Wrestling tonight.
Isn't it true? And what did I see? People have been speaking of my demise. But on Easter Sunday, in the Hemisfair Arena, they didn't get me, did they, Steve Stacks?
Well, they didn't get you because you did a lot of plotting, as far as I'm concerned. You've been going and thinking up all these things that you could do and finally come up with them.
Let me tell you something. You know, you can mess with a fool, but don't you ever try to mess with a wise man. And when you're messing with me, I'm the wisest of all.
Of course, I'm going to let the fans see what we're talking about a little later on, and you'll be have to answer some questions, not only to me, but some other people, because I'm sure they're not going to be happy with what they're going to see.
I'm responsible for my actions.
Cage match, Texas bull rope match, the Polish Power, and Ivan Putski and more, right after this.
Texas All-Star Wrestling at the Bergstrom Air Force Base Gym, Saturday night, April 19th at 7:30 p.m. Then, in Coppers Cove at the Coppers Cove Convention Center, Thursday night, April 17th, 7:30 p.m. Advance tickets for both those big cards, only $3. In Coppers Cove, you'll be seeing sheepherder Jonathan Boyd in action. Al Gavigan versus the Magnificent Zulu. Kareem Mohammed, 486 pounds versus the 431-pound Big Bubba. You're going to be seeing Golden Boy Mike Golden with fantasy against Scott Casey. Al Madril, you take on the U.S. heavyweight champion Austin Idol in a non-title match.
Well, I'll tell you what, this man is a turncoat. People have called me turncoat for a long time now, and I'm getting sick and tired of it. Look at Austin Idol. Look what he did, baby. But don't worry, Mr. Idol. I'm going to take care of you in Coppers Cove. And Big Fat Bubba, have you seen Big Fat, how fat he is? Well, look at this man here. Look at the abs on this man here. Why don't you work out, Bubba? Look at that body. He's in the greatest shape in the world. If it wasn't the United States pull out of the 1980 Olympics, this man would have won the bodybuilding contest. This is the strongest man in the world today. Tell him, Armand.
And look at that body. Works out every day. Look at that. The strongest man. Are you looking at it? Bubba, why don't you reduce and get in shape like the Zambo Express? Look at that.
Well, Kareem Mohammed, you are indeed one of the strongest men in professional wrestling today. But Big Bubba can bench press 500 pounds.
We beat Big Bubba in a bench press contest, so don't get cute.
That's right, you know that. And if you keep wearing that little yo-yo outfit you got, it may come back in style in Coppers Cove.
Well, I think you're trying to avoid the subject. You've got
the subject in the battle of the match is that the Zambo is the strongest man in the world. He lifts 700 pounds, and we got witnesses. We got it on tape. We got it on film. And if anybody want to see it, all they got to do is call H&H and Associates and send that money along with their request.
Well, you and Big Bubba are 1-1 in a weightlifting contest. The rubber match in Coppers Cove, Thursday night, April 17th, 7:30 bell time. Make sure you see all the action.
The excitement of Texas All-Star Wrestling, Gary Hart, is going to start right now. As we're going to go into the ring, pick up the introductions of a match which will feature an outstanding upcoming star, El Gavigan, against the season premier veteran, the sheepherder Jonathan Boyd. Let's pick it up.
38 pounds, sheepherder Jonathan Boyd. His opponent tonight, tipping the scales at 212 pounds, from San Antonio, Texas, Gavagan! Gavagan!
Austin Idol is here with me on Texas All-Star Wrestling today as we look into the ring and watch the sheepherder Jonathan Boyd up against El Gavigan. And Austin, it's nice to have you here. I know as the United States heavyweight champion. You're very busy traveling the world. I'm glad you took out a little time of your schedule to be here with us at the Hemisfair Arena tonight in San Antonio.
It just warms the cockles of my heart to be here in San Antonio, to be associated with Texas All-Star Wrestling. And you know, you look at the name, Texas All-Star, and brother, as far as I'm concerned, I'm the biggest star in this area, and I know what you're probably thinking right now, huh? Well, maybe Austin Idol, maybe you really haven't changed that much. You sound like you're a little bit conceited here. You sound like you're a little bit stuck in yourself. Well, don't. I'm telling you right now, brother, that I've got a way of it. It's a positive thinking attitude. I'm always going to have it, and in order to be in professional wrestling, you have got to have it, and this kid here better have himself a positive attitude if he expects to beat Jonathan Boyd, the New Zealander, who is a highly seasoned and wily and salted veteran.
Well, everybody on Texas All-Star Wrestling and in the Southwest knows the sheep herders, and this is Jonathan Boyd as he goes up against L. Gavigan. You can see Boyd dropping a knee across the shoulder of L. Gavigan. The referee is Harry Chandler. Well, Austin, I know that next week you will be defending your title here on Texas All-Star Wrestling, but let's talk about some of the men who you have defeated in previous times. I know you're traveling all over the world, and I want to go with you sometime and take the cameras and tape those matches. But I want to mention one in particular. I know you hold a very big victory over the NWA champion, Ric Flair.
You know, there's always, there's an old cliche that a picture is worth 1,000 words, you know? And if I sit here and I say, yeah, I beat Ric Flair right in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, it's plain as day, it's right there on film. People say, well, if that's true, why don't you show it to us? You know, maybe you ain't telling us the truth, Austin Idol. Maybe you're trying to jive somebody. Maybe you're trying to pull the wool over somebody's eyes. Remember where you're at. This is Texas. This is the great state of Texas. This is the Lone Star State. You can't fool us. You can't trick us. You can't jive us. I ain't trying to jive nobody, Steve. I'm not trying to jive you, and I ain't trying to jive nobody here. And believe you me, I know there's a film of it, and I know it's going to be shown here in the up-and-coming weeks, showing me beat NWA heavyweight champion, world champion. Give me a break, Jack. Right in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3. As far as I'm concerned, there's really only one title in this country that really means something, and I've got it around my waist. I'm traveling just as much as Ric Flair. I'm traveling just as much as Stan Hansen in the NWA. I'm traveling just as much as Hulk Hogan, just as much as any of them. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm the only champion, the United States heavyweight champion, and I'll challenge any one of those punks any day of the week, and we can do it right here in San Antonio if you want to.
Well, that's Austin Idol, United States heavyweight champion, and I'll have to back right whatever he says, because the man has made an impression on me. I've known Austin for a long time. He's a very crafty veteran in the ring. As we look at the sheep herder now, the sheep herder has gotten rid of Gavigan. Gavigan outside. Al Gavigan comes up onto the apron, grabs that ropes. He's going to come into the ring. Want to remind all you fans that we're going to be in Corpus Christi with Texas All-Star Wrestling Television on the road on April the 10th. That's a Thursday night at the Memorial Coliseum right on the bayfront. And Austin Idol, I know you're trying to arrange to be there with us.
Oh, I'd love to be. Matter of fact, I'd love to go to Corpus and spend about 3 or 4 days and lay on that beautiful Padre Island. I mean, that's world famous. You hear people talking about Padre Island all over the country. They're saying, man, if we could save up a few bucks, sweetheart, why don't we take the kids and we'll throw the dog in the kennel, put him in the back of the car, the station wagon, and let's truck on into Padre Island, lay on the beach, and take some sun. So if it happens, if it comes to pass, that was a devastating elbow right there. If it comes to pass, that I could possibly be in Corpus Christi defending my title and laying out there on Padre Island with some of the most beautiful girls in the world, laying out there taking some sun, Steve.
That's a nice place to go, I'm going to tell you that. Not too long ago, spring break, and it was packed. You'd have enjoyed it then.
Oh, I would have loved to have been there. You know, Steve, I'm watching this match, as you, of course, in our television audience, and this kid, Al Gavigan, he's trying. He's got an opportunity here, Steve, to make a name for himself, and I'm sure that's why he accepted this match.
You know, when you're in there with the likes of the sheep herder, and you can see the sweat pouring off the bald head of the sheep herder there. Not bald, actually, keeps it shaved. But he's got a claw hold right on the top of the head of Al Gavigan. And the sheep herder's been in wrestling a long time. Gavigan not too long, but you've got to meet him. You have to take on the best if you're going to make your way up.
Yeah, there's no backing up and there's no sidestepping to it. You've really got to go. It's like two locomotives on a collision course, and you've got to be able to withstand a head-on collision. And this kid is trying. He's trying his best, but apparently it's just not enough. He seems like he can't really muster any kind of attack against this Jonathan Boyd. But you know, before you go into a wrestling match, Steve, you have got to talk to yourself. People look at me in the dressing room, they say, Austin Idol has gone over the edge, that he's crazy. I talk to myself. I psych myself up. I pump myself up. I tell myself, you're going to go out there. You can expect to get beat on. You can expect to get kicked around. You can expect to get thrown on a concrete floor. And I try my best to make myself oblivious to the degree of pain. I try to be able to withstand all the pain I can, Steve. And there always comes a point in the match where I will psych myself up to a degree, Steve, where I actually cannot feel the pain. And you'll see that in the weeks to come. I will get myself so psyched up that I'll overcome the pain threshold. It's got to be over right there. It's got to be.
Oh, the sheepherder off of that middle rope, but he is taking Gavigan, whips him into the rope, gets in front, buries that shoulder in the midsection of Gavigan, and now the sheepherder just grabs the leg and puts the shoulder down. It's 1, 2, 3, and the sheepherder, Jonathan Boyd, is just as tough as ever, Austin.
He certainly is, and that Gavigan hadn't had the breath knocked out of him prior to that. He could have made an opportunity to possibly roll out of the way before he was hit with it.
Well, the sheepherder, Jonathan Boyd, is making his way out of the ring now, and Mark Nolte is standing by to interview him. Let's pick it out.
With me now, the mastermind of the Sheepherders' 2-year reign of terror in the state of Texas, Lord Jonathan Boyd. Boyd, are you back to stay, or is this just a one-time visit?
I'm back for one bloody reason, and that's to kick the living daylights out of stupid bloody Yanks. My cousins only did what I told them. I was their power. I was the man of the hour. And I'm going to be the man of the hour here. Take warning. Every stinking Yank that's watching this, and it goes for the fans too. I hate every stinking one of you. I hate everybody out there, and I want you to know it. And I'll tell you why. When I brought the sheepherders to America, it was for revenge. Because in the war, you guys came to my bloody country, and you misused and abused our women. And now, I'm going to get even for it. A Yank ran me off the road here, and I was crippled. But my cousins did the job for me. And now I can do it myself, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to hurt you, Yanks.
Jonathan Boyd and the fans of the state of Texas, remember just how destructive this man can be.
Well, the sheepherder leaves no doubt in my mind that he doesn't care too much for Yanks. What about you, Gary Hart?
Great thing about America, freedom of speech.
Well, that he has. I don't want you to go away, and I don't want the fans to go away because
I ain't going nowhere.
the Texas bull rope match is coming up next.
Don't you go away.
Texas bull rope match, the Cowboy Scott, Casey, Nell, Madril. Right after
I think it's a cowgirl.